Picture this. You're standing on a tropical beach on a Pacific island, palm trees, warm wind, and then something falls out of the sky and lands in the sand right next to you. It's a dead mouse tied to a tiny cardboard parachute. You look up, and there are more of them. 2,000 of them drifting down through the air like the strangest snowfall you have ever seen. This actually happened. The United States government, it did this on purpose, and the reason why is one of the most bizarre wildlife disasters in modern history. This is the story of Guam and the snake that ate an island. Guam is a small U.S. territory in the Western Pacific. For most of its history, its forests were loud, full of birdsong. More than a dozen species of native birds lived nowhere else on Earth. Then, sometime after World War II, most likely in the 1940s or 50s, a stowaway arrived. It came hidden in military cargo, probably shipped in from somewhere near New Guinea. It was a snake, the brown tree snake. Nobody noticed. Maybe it was a single pregnant female. Maybe a breeding pair. It didn't take much. Because here's the thing about Guam. It had no snakes, which means nothing on the island had ever evolved to fear one. No predators to hunt it, no prey that knew how to hide from it. For the brown tree snake, Guam wasn't an island. It was an all-you-can-eat buffet with the doors wide open. The snakes climbed. They hunt at night, gliding silently through the branches, striking their prey in the dark. And they went straight for the birds, the eggs, the chicks, the adults, entire nests at a time. Species by species, the forests of Guam went quiet. Most of the island's native forest birds were wiped out. Some vanished from the wild completely. And that silence had consequences nobody expected. With the birds gone, nothing was eating the insects anymore. So the spiders took over. Studies found the island's spider population exploded. In some places, many times higher than on nearby islands that still had their birds. And the snakes didn't stop at wildlife. They crawled into power lines and electrical equipment, causing blackouts across the island. Again, and again, and again. Their numbers? Estimates put the snake population at around 2 million, reaching densities of up to 13,000 snakes per square mile. That is denser than the Amazon rainforest. An entire ecosystem quietly consumed. And then the authorities realized something terrifying. If even one of these snakes hitched a ride to Hawaii, Hawaii is the nightmare scenario. Like Guam once was, it's a bird paradise with no native snakes. If the brown tree snake ever established itself there, the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimated the damage from snake bites, power outages, and lost tourism could run into the hundreds of millions, potentially billions of dollars, every single year. That's why, to this day, cargo leaving Guam is inspected for stowaway snakes. But inspection isn't enough. They needed to fight back on Guam itself. And they had already tried almost everything. Traps, snake-sniffing dogs, hunters combing the island by hand. None of it worked. Not against 2 million snakes hiding in the treetops. They needed something stranger. Then scientists discovered something weird. The brown tree snake has an unusual weakness. It is deadly sensitive to one common ordinary drug. One that's sitting in medicine cabinets all over the world. Acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol. A painkiller that millions of people take without a second thought. To the brown tree snake, it's lethal, and it doesn't take much. Around 80 milligrams is enough. Now they had their weapon, but they had a delivery problem. How do you get poison to a snake that lives high up in the trees without harming anything else on the island? The answer was gloriously, absurdly simple. The snakes love to eat mice, so this became the plan. Take dead mice, lace each one with a small dose of acetaminophen, then, and this is the part that sounds made up, attach each mouse to a little streamer made of cardboard and tissue paper. A parachute for a dead mouse. When dropped from a low-flying helicopter over the forest, the mice don't fall straight to the ground where other animals might find them. Instead, the streamers catch in the tree branches, leaving the bait dangling exactly where the snakes hunt. For a brown tree snake, it's a free meal, delivered right to its doorstep. And it is the last meal it will ever eat. This wasn't a one-off stunt. It was a real funded government operation, part of a program costing around $8 million, backed by the Department of Agriculture, the Department of the Interior, and the Department of Defense. And in one of the most famous drops in 2013, roughly 2,000 poisoned mice rained down by parachute over Andersen Air Force Base on Guam. Federal officials stood and watched as the mice floated down into the trees. An army of dead mice, deployed against an army of snakes. It sounds like a joke. It reads like something from a cartoon. But every part of it is real. The invasion, The vanished birds, the exploding spiders, the blackouts, and yes, the parachuting mice. Guam is a warning. It shows how one small stowaway in the wrong place with nothing to stop it can unravel an entire world. And it shows just how far people will go, how strange they will get to try and put it back together. The war on Guam's snakes is still going on, and somewhere out there right now, the mice are still falling.